I might also play them tonight until I die in each, or get bored and skip to the next one. We'll see. Anyway, I love this intro. Ah, that's saying a lot. Shame there was never a second. I mean, I hate Parasite Eve 2 so much. I really do. And I might, between now and Halloween, dust it off and play that too, and explain why I hate it so much. Mostly it's the controls, honestly. It's just... Let's turn this into a Resident Evil clone, but then let's have this auto-aim thing that you can't turn off and faces you towards the nearest enemy slowly. And now let's have you dodge things. Plus the camera angles. Also, I should thank everyone here for helping me get this emulator situation straightened out, because that took me a while. Such a 90s logo with the all lowercase in the brackets. That's nice. This isn't the same intro, right? No, it's... This is the same shot and a variation of the same song, right? Also, like... I don't know how much it's just nostalgia talking, but... This game looked absolutely amazing when it first came out, and it still holds up shockingly well today. Like, this was... what year was this? This was, I want to say, 98? Yeah. Or possibly late 97. And a lot of PlayStation games have aged surprisingly gracefully, but, like, the CGI in this looks weirdly good by today's standards for a lot of things. Not everything, obviously. Like, humans, not so much. But those cars, hell yes. That one rat, proudly enough, yes. But then, of course, we have the in-game art. I agree. Like, the PlayStation... I mean, there was more than one, because it depends on whether they're talking, like, first generation, just flat shaded polygons, or this particular era of let's have textures that are way too high to actually display it all correctly, or, you know, going for actual 2D stuff for pre-rendered assets. Like, there are several looks that kind of have some charm. And then PlayStation 2 kind of looks like games today, just with less polygons and less interesting lighting, and it's like there's nothing really stand out about it. Sure, 25. We'll go with that. Okay, let's also not kid ourselves here. Let's go with the name we all know in our hearts belongs on here. There we go. So, fun fact that someone told me a while ago, because I was talking about how, at least in the pre-rendered shots, like, the resemblance between our protagonist here and in Final Fantasy VII is really suspiciously high. Turns out that's because at some point there were thoughts of doing Final Fantasy VII in this sort of art style. And they had some of the models lying around, and they just recycled Cloud into this policewoman here. Which didn't seem to involve a lot of changes. Also, this is your walking speed in this game. Which is untenable. Like, look how long it takes to cross one sidewalk tile here. So for the rest of the game, I'll be holding down the run button, which gives us the much superior speed of only taking like 3 steps across one sidewalk tile. And this, everyone, is the one big flaw in Parasite Eve. Also, can't notice that like everyone in the chat right now is also in this Discord where I am, I think, signed into the chat. If you want to hop in and say hi. There's a lot of big floors in this, but yes, like walking anywhere in this game takes forever, partially because you just don't move. No, that's fine. Now for the other Square game with the opera scene. I kind of prefer the one in FF6. Though they both have the common element of getting partway through the first scene and then things happen. I keep not wanting to talk over the lyrics of the opera here, despite the plain text approach. There we go. I feel like these samples, you're going to hear a lot of them. So yeah, this is not aged as well. But the next cutscene, if I recall what we get, like, to this day, holds up shockingly well. That is fair. And I kind of like this era, too, where we had, like, full motion video, but still weren't having characters ever talk. This part doesn't actually age that badly. Also, it took you that long to do something with up. I'll take sprites over polygons pretty much any day. Probably. Um, I'm not up on the Japanese opera scene, honestly. Although I do appreciate this game having an actual rationalization for why, like, we're in all these urban settings, but you never see other people around. It's because everybody else isn't immune to just, like, spontaneously bursting into flames. Yeah, the American will do that too. There's kind of just the one famous opera house. Also, this game has a great soundtrack. And kind of this overblown UI in combat, honestly. Insert your own Resinger gauge out right here. But yeah, basically mechanically, when you're in combat, you can run around at your top speed of nothing, and actually dodge attacks, and then bring up an actual menu to make your own, and then wait for your bar to fill up. And something that I may or may not play long enough to be relevant, realized about this. There's an interesting system later on for, like, customizing your weapons, where you can, like, use special little tools to take this special feature off this gun and just throw it onto this one. And one thing that I used to do with that is, like, oh, okay, well, here's this, like, fully automatic weapon that can fire 18 times. Let me take that off and put it on the main gun I'm using. Because, more bullets equals more damage, right? And the answer is no. Um, the damage calculation kind of divides your total damage by the number of shots. So I ruined a perfectly good gun doing that. Also, the plot of this game, which will take a while to develop here, and I'm going to be playing it for a while, I don't want to, like, throw it all out there right away, it is utterly ridiculous. But I can say it involves a cop chasing an opera singer around for a week. Now we're coming up on, I believe, the really good cutscene. Follow correct police procedures and talk to the other cops, or dive down a weird, mysterious hole in the ground. Really? I know this had a composer who was famous for something. I didn't know it was Street Fighter 2. And I totally forgot this, like, weird little ghost dream memory girl thing was in this game at all. Now, again, like I said before, I'm told that character models for the protagonist are from a scrapped version of Final Fantasy VII, where this was going to be Cloud, and can't help but notice she's always like in a dress or otherwise clearly feminine, which makes me wonder: was the plan originally that Cloud was cis, or anyway, good old PlayStation horror style, creator backgrounds, and playing characters. And this door is being a jerk. You're probably locked too, so yeah. Now here it comes, the shockingly well-aged cutscene. Look at that rat. Like less so in the after shot, but the before shot, that is a shockingly well-rendered rat. And then we ruin it with that stock sound effect. And also the setting of the combat system. Okay, I was way over there when you fired that. I mean, I'm pretty sure Eve is her actual name, not to put it in quotes. And yeah, there was a lot of experimenting on the PlayStation era of like, what can we really do in 3D? Like the main follow-up to this was really Vagrant Story, doing the same like 3D sphere for all your attacks, and there too, it doesn't really add much. If I'm honest. This is a very hard corpse to get around. Sorry. Also, wait. Is the parrot saying hot, hot, help, help? The parrot imitating this guy when he was dying? Oh, thank you. I just got this started, really, and, yeah, it's going. I have not played this since it was new, but when it was new, I looped it like 7 or 8 times. Yeah, I really need to start setting those emotes up, too. I keep wanting to do one of the 2 crystal balls and possibly something involving a plate of eggs. And, I mean, there's a reason for that. The developers of the Shadow Hearts games used to work for Squaresoft around when this came out and then left to do their own thing. Sometime in 1998, I think. Their own thing being Kudelka, which is also in the pile of games I had available to potentially play tonight. And, you know, may get to eventually still. And that's a, like, glorious hot mess of a game, too. But, sort of a push on people's parts to make more of a yeah, I want to spread about that. More mature, in the actual sense, sort of RPG, and get into some horror stuff. And they were playing a lot of Resident Evil at the time, which is kind of the case with this too. But this is its own interesting thing mechanically, which I actually do like. Yeah, and I mean that's fair. You're not the first person to say it to me tonight, but yeah. I forgot about accidentally threatening a clown. But yeah, Kudelka is mechanically ambitious and a bit weird. The first Shadow Hearts is a bit more down to earth, but also a little rough, largely because it was originally going to be PlayStation and then moved to the PlayStation 2 at the last minute. And also because they weren't quite set on whether they wanted to have to be like horror game hard or RPG hard. But then, yeah, Covenant and From the New World really hit a sweet spot and are some of my favorite games. Which I am not playing tonight because I am... Well, I guess, okay, if I am playing horror games, then those technically count, but I'm sticking with the PlayStation 1 for the moment. My other thought tonight was to bust out some old NES horror games and play some Sweet Home and Monster Party, and after that I'm kind of out of good ideas. Not that playing Monster Party is necessarily a good idea, but you know, it's a game people need to be aware about for future generations to not make the same mistakes, if nothing else. And yeah, I mean, so the Shadow Hearts games don't have the most sensitive representation of gay people in them. But they do have a representation, which at the time puts them possibly ahead of the curve. That's just a funny line in this context. Yeah, Joachim's great, and I don't mind the two people who make your fancy dresses for your doll. Eve is not her actual name, that's right. But then the whole Man Festival is a lot, and I would say you don't know what we're talking about here. You can just look it up on YouTube, but like, maybe don't. Yeah, because if you look up on YouTube, you get no context at all, and you need at least the context that there is this RPG wherein you have a character who is a flamboyantly gay superhero vampire wrestler who enters a competition to learn his ultimate move with his mentor. Which first involves the very lovely such a JRPG thing of having to fight your way up a tower of 100 wrestling rings to get to his master, and then they have sex. And that's a thing to put in your game, sure. So I forgot that there were actually things in all these doors. Okay, that's where I left off. This is such an interesting choice of music for the main battle theme of the horror game. Hey, there's that. But yeah, it's a weird instance where it's like it's bad, but like I don't know that they weren't trying to sincerely do something good. They didn't pull it off, but, you know. Something like that. I have like visibility here. Ah, there we go. So, yeah, I'll save for later. So we have this weapon customization system where there are attack range and ammo stats on every gun, plus the special abilities and rate of fire down below. I believe that is this can fire 2 shots, and there is 1 locked slot that could potentially hold something if I did something to it. So I'm going to say that before I have a better gun, I think. And, oh yeah, we also have a melee weapon if you run out of ammo for some reason. Speaking of. And then, yeah, we have a healing spell because this is an RPG after all. Very limited set of equipment. And yeah, standard RPG menu setup, which is odd for just having 1 character. But yeah, the customization, which I doubt I'm really going to get into here and now. Which person doesn't like me? Is interesting because there's actually like a wide variety of like special abilities to put on weapons. There's, you know, like a first strike capability. There's firing shotgun shells. So there's some spread damage. There's I want to say elemental rounds of some sort. It's also because it kind of does the Dragon Warrior thing where I can put all my bullets into this 1 rat, but if it dies early, that last shot just isn't coming out. Or if I'm confident that I can drop it in 1 hit, I could have spread that out and taken it to it once. But also, dodging these is not hard, so yeah. This is the thing I like too, is this like pre-rendered PlayStation graphics where like they have a nicely rendered scene, and then they have like low enough resolution and a shallow enough color palette that it turns into this weird smearing mess of the floor. And this is also very much one of those games of the era of what do I interact with? Yeah. Okay. Rest in peace, clown, in the dressing room. Never bothered to learn your name. Here. Now I think at this point I'm actually supposed to just, you know, straight up leave. Okay, this did not have the thing that there was in Final Fantasy VII to display exactly where you can go as far as like actual exits to the room. So we are going to listen to these footsteps while I slowly try to remember where it is I'm actually supposed to go right now. think I picked everything up downstairs. Oh, there we go. No. There we go. So I do and don't like the fact that, you know, in a building like this, they do make you walk all the way out to the front door. Like it's a nice real use of space, but also the woman can't walk. Like, it's just painfully slow to go anywhere if you know where you're going. Typical police response. See, totally holding a badge. I guess I don't need to worry too much about a paramedic not knowing the word spontaneous, but you know, thank you for the free healing with no sound effect or anything like that. Well, because I just got patched up with the ambulance driver, didn't you pay attention? I mean, keep them coming, pal. Okay, I love how many of those you can actually get out of them, and then we have such an awkward message for you. Okay, but to my horror, I did not find plot. Yeah. I seem to recall later on in the PlayStation you actually can just like go to the firing range and like load the hell up, which is nice to them. I'm also very sure that I have never come close to running out of ammo in this game, which is a difference between this and Parasite Eve 2, where that is a serious problem. Because Parasite Eve 2 both really expects you to kill everything you see, and also really doesn't let you hold a lot of bullets at once. And it makes up for it by having these boxes lying around with just like infinite free ammo in it. And you can hold like, I think 200 at a time. But then later in the game, you're fighting things that take 100 shots to go down. And they're not dangerous in any way, they're just giant bullet sponges. But you enter a new room, there's two of them in there, you waste all your ammo dropping them, and then you run back 12 rooms to the ammo box to get more, and repeat. And it's just unbearable, it really is. Okay, so clown still dead. I'm pretty sure I've checked all these doors. I'm also pretty sure I checked one at the end of the hall, but like it's the obvious place to go, right? Yeah, it's a distractingly girly set of animations in general. Got your arms just flailing around. You got your. Do I just have to like actually use this key? You're really kicked off if I do. No. Mm-hmm. That's fair. And, you know, like, later in the game, I like to say, oh, well, clearly you have to run like that because, like, your pants are just way too tight and it's binding your legs up. But here, like, that is a split leg dress. I mean, like, you've got full range of motion in that thing. So what the hell? Oh, sure. Phones with spectral receivers are your save points. Yeah, it's fair. Well, it doesn't have the, like, big dragon down the side of it, so it's not quite perfect, but... Quit being locked, it's annoying. So... At some point, I may have to break down and look at a walkthrough for what the hell did he do at the very start of Parasite Eve. I swear I had the rest of the game memorized, but not this one section. I don't know why that's so amusing, but it really is. Okay, sure. And you have to, like, stop running to search, too. It's... Yeah, we used to have to do a stream showing off, what was it even called again? It was, something, AI Dungeon? Yeah, AI Dungeon, which is a heck of a thing. And aha, I found plot. This was a period when Squaresoft didn't quite have really solid localization staff going on. So just a lot of... I got hot. But yeah, AI Dungeon was a heck of an experience. Hazel and I were messing around with it, I don't know, a few weeks ago or months now. Time is meaningless. It's basically a machine learning algorithm running a text adventure for you that is weirdly good at it. It stays surprisingly coherent. But, yeah, when she was running through it, the logs I have to get posted up somewhere. There was this whole weird thing with a identity crisis and a parrot who was just, like, really consistently snarky all the way through. And by an identity crisis, I mean the game started addressing her as Hazel in this, like, fourth wall breaking way, and it was freaking us both the hell out. Aha, there's the other key. Good old rehearse key. Okay. I can get on with the actual game, finally. But, yeah, I was saying before about this is... It turns out that, like, extra fire rate on your gun is a huge trap option. Both because you don't do any actual extra damage, you just waste more ammo, but also because you, like, get stuck standing still, emptying your gun for, like, a whole round. And you're a sitting duck. Like, freeze, put the piano down. The quotes are officially part of the name. Again, the way you keep saying that's just a little weird. And here we have the actual plot of Parasite Eve. That mitochondria, the little things in the cell that have their own DNA and, like, are the powerhouse of the cell, as they say, decide to revolt and take over the world by possessing an opera singer. And also setting things on fire. It was taking all of my force of will not to blurt that out right away, but yes, that is the plot of this game. Which is based on a novel. And, oh yeah, this is not an interesting thing. Just the right angle, that's safe. Also, that is terrible range. I'm gonna have to... Oh yeah, there's Bearing MP too, I forgot about that. Probably. Yeah, there's still some dodging involved. It's an interesting attack pattern, actually. Just, like, flanks you and then drifts. And you got 1 speed. Because this predates the DualShock. Okay, you know Star Wars, where there was the midichlorians. It's the same basic idea. So, if I actually recall the backstory involved these flashbacks, it's like, you have a twin sister, and you're, like, the chosen ones of the special mitochondria, and then your sister dies and gives a blood transfusion to this random opera singer, who then becomes the mitochondria devil and leads the Great Revolution to, as she actually says, overthrow the tyranny of the nucleus. Which, you know, there are wacky sci-fi horror ones, and then there's that. Okay, so I'm going to double check that I definitely didn't miss anything in this room. I don't want to go down that hallway ever again. So let me triple check there's no plot item on or near this piano. Oh, okay. I'm glad I didn't double back. That would have been awful. Okay, so we got a sewer down here. We got some graffiti. I think it says something about loving New York and Ken. Is that like contact damage? What the hell? That was heavy reload. Oh, so something I should point out there. One thing when you level up is you get these bonus points, which are interesting for two reasons. First, they're actual, like, customization. I don't recall where you actually use them. And, you know, go ahead and kill myself. Yeah, there's actual customization system where you can like distribute them to your stats and stuff like that, and also you can like add them directly to your weapon stats. But you can only do that, I think, when you loop the game. Or when they explain the mechanics later on. But it's one of those things where you can like you can have good stats now, or you can do a new game plus and have good stats then, which is an interesting way to do things. Some room. I do like this combat system. It's like just tactical enough that I care. You can't consistently dodge because you move at the speed of this frog here, and yeah, some things just like hit way too well. But you can dodge some things, and you have to like plan around. Okay, will I be in range to actually hit? Like that's probably I thought it was. The little, you know, triangle sphere does matter. So there's some like actual tactical positioning going on, which is nice. That kind of like evolved out of Chrono Trigger, which has a similar system, but you can't control it in any way. This is just a straight up better gun, I believe. And I hate that they're all named things like this. Yeah, roughly better anyway. Has that attack rate, which is actually not a good thing, like I said, but. I don't know if it's better to take the high road here or stay down in the sewer water, but from a role-playing perspective, it's definitely better to just take the high road here than to stay down in the sewer water. Where that box is. Was that the only point coming up here? Just... Hey, there's a box in the corner. Seems to be. Also, like... this environment and this outfit are not a good combination. Like... you got the one leg just straight up in raw sewage. Yeah, that was apparently up there. Just seeing that there was... somewhere in this creatively designed hitbox of a floor... a box in this corner that I can definitely reach and open. There we go. I can make an even more offensive gun. But will I, or will I just continue to save those forever? I've never used any of them. But yeah, as I was saying, so you got the 1 foot just sloshing around in raw sewage. That's not great. And I'm sure it's like an open-toed shoe, too, so that just is that much worse. And then you have your other leg, where you got this, like, floor-length dress going on. And that's just dragging through it for later. And then heals, which, you know, never help anything. You know, you have to be a responsible cop and just call back to the station regularly to explain. Chase the suspect into the sewers. She is singing and setting people on fire, and also talking about mitochondria. No backup necessary. I took all their bullets. Again, like, they say there's a lot. It's always slightly off. And it's also always slightly gay. And that part, I think, is intentional. Also, I should probably comment on the fact that, like, her legs disappeared and she kind of grew this very long horn between her legs, which is certainly a look. Of which there are many. And wow, those are some Street Fighter hands. Bar is too narrow, just turn into goo. Bossing is again very good. Are there? Please, like, be murdering me less. Like, it's really... hard to keep up here. There we go. Wow! That wasn't at all cheap. So, now the question is, do we stick with Parasite Eve, or do we use a rule of, if you die, switch games? I will go with the first input anybody gives on this. Yeah! Just... you want to be close to it to dodge the projectiles, but yeah, you don't want to be so close to it that you hit with the actual tail itself and take all the damage, apparently. And yeah, I should probably at least stick with this long enough to show off the very good world map. Or die to that boss a couple more times, because holy cow. first, going in there with full HP, that helps a lot. And then... I guess I'll actually use these. The good gun here. Maybe better. And then try to remember, is there actually a way to use their bonus points right away? Nope. It's a shame. It's got 89 of the suckers. Put them all into something, but there they are over there. Oh well. Take two. Now it's time to skip through a whole lot of dialogue. Yeah, you're very hot. I'm very special. Yeah, you... Gotta watch this again. This is unskippable. I think it is weird to compare. Like, look how good that reflection of the water on the walls is for the era. And then faces are just very, like, doll-like. That camera. Okay, that's a good start. You know, if you're going to tutorialize the whole weak point thing, it should be a better weak point than this. Yeah, that is fair. Okay, so phase 2, I guess, as I took its tail out. Again, like, nicely sorted tactical combat in an RPG. I actually do like it quite a bit. And I kind of wish that they'd, like, iterated on this system with the sequel instead of going straight up Resident Evil 2 with it. And I suppose that is true. Unless you really stare at the water a lot. You can just hit the zoom button on here. You don't have to actually walk it over like that. And here comes the best character in the game. Just your partner is incredibly violent, reckless driving weirdo for no good reason at all. Like, look at how fast that background's going by. I don't think the person you're dating like ever shows up again. For the record. I guess all cops have instincts on which bits of live theater to see to stop spontaneous combustion crimes. So let it not be unnoticed. This is a Christmas game. If you're ever looking for a game with Christmas theming to play on Christmas, Parasite Eve officially qualifies. So I guess playing it right before Halloween is being part of the problem. You missed a boss that like cheap shot me out in one hit. That was actually 20 hits, so there's no iframes. And you missed the introduction to violence partner. Just cold cocking a reporter in the back of the head and sending him flying to the ground. But otherwise, no. And I really like this little model of Manhattan they have for the world map. It's like the textures are garbage, and it's missing a lot of buildings, but it works in this is what they could do at the time sort of sense. And I really had to appreciate that. I mean, sure. So I guess if it's 6 days and it covers Christmas Eve on the first one, then it's kind of a Christmas and New Year's game. So you can play it the whole holiday season. We went to the apartment of the arsonist, but it burned down too. I'm not going to stop being amused by the Undercloud. But yeah, this is your default look for the vast majority of the game. which is a decent look. Just, you know, jeans, jacket, weird mullet. Okay, mind if I ransack your office looking for bullets? It's just my thing I do. It looks really weird when I do it because you have to stop running to search, so you just kind of... Yeah, that's the run. Like, just running out of this guy's office takes that long. And walking is just like a joke. So you wind up frequently doing this really herky-jerky run a step search thing. I mean, who am I calling at this point? Yeah. Like I said, like, when you have these pants on, it's like, oh yeah, they're just really tight jeans, you can't move and it makes sense. But at the start, it's just... I should be able to clip that dress for a movement bonus. We also replace my N vest with this here vest. Love those 8 character limits. It's kind of a special treat at the end of the game where you can pick one weapon and one piece of armor to rename whatever you want. And then keep that for your New Game Plus loop. So my actual file back on the real hardware, I have a gun called Megatron, just because I'm that nerd. It is kind of amusing for me to just be like looting the police station that you work in. Also, what kind of like combination locker room sauna is this? He's in full uniform too. Yeah, replace the armor that I literally just got from that boss fight with this other armor that I don't like as much, but has better magic defense. Cops gotta be prepared. Which is like, the entire soundtrack of this game is really memorable and interesting. Time to find the excessive force department. Is it? Make my gun better. Yes, and yes. I actually do like this rationalization for why you don't just start with the best weapons. It's like one person is actually responsible enough not to just pass out rocket launchers like candy. Although it is completely unrealistic to have a pro gun control cop. Like, that's very much not their thing. guess this new one. Which is the new one? Oh, holy crap, this is the new one. Okay. Yeah, so now that slot that was scratched off is open. And I can put new cool gun switch abilities in there. Thank you, Torres, for that even-handed, weirdly phrased message. Excuse me? Please enjoy this screenshot of the game in this tutorial. I mean, the implication is clearly, you know, just jam your dick in your gun. So, anyway, do I have any tools right now, or is that tutorial just, you know, remember this for later? Believe that's remember this for later. Okay. So, something I actually like about this game is, despite being in a modern setting, there's no money. It's like, you're in the police. Like, you are going to, never gonna use that. Okay, fine. Be like that. No, done using that. Alright, that's my equipment, isn't it? For some reason. Equip, that's what I want. So, yeah. Get that the hell out of here. Cool. And I have no junk to trash. Weird place to leave that lying around, but okay. But yeah, so, like, I like that you don't buy weapons. You just, you know, get to a point in the game where it's like, okay, you can probably have the, bigger guns now. And, oh yeah, you can put things in treasure chests that you've already opened to free up inventory space and pick them up later, which is kind of a neat feature. Another neat feature is having like a reasonable inventory size, but you know, it's a horror game. There are traditions to uphold. And what else is down in the basement here? Puppies! The records show you cannot pet the dog in Parasite Eve. Is there any point to this room, or is it just like, look, dogs? Yeah, that's... Look, you know, good for you. I mean, you might be right. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm not quite the sort of cop they let into the big guns room. For some reason. Hello, random small child? Alright. Hey Daniel, why is your kid dressed like a fighting game character? Yeah. Stare as he trots on out. What the hell, man? You should all quit and get other jobs. Which I guess you have in the room, but you know. Also, it's always a weird thing in games where you wind up like exploring a location that your character really should know everything about. Wasn't that the exit though? I could have sworn it said exit. Oh, okay, I see. So what do you want? Walker sauna. So, you know, visitation rights are a thing, right? Just saying. Alright, the chief is not the bald. No, wait, the chief is the other bald guy who lives in the special room over here. I guess he doesn't live in the special room over here. You know, that's how offices work, right? You just sleep in them. Take your meals. You have a very special mission to stand there and look pretty. That chalkboard cracks me up for some reason. Oops. Let me just get that. Someone tried to set me on fire. I just dodged it. Oh, fine. Give the actual answer. This is not really how an experienced cop should be handling an ongoing investigation, by the way. Probably yes. Sure, let's go with that. I do like these very animated old video game characters of the day. Yeah, pretty much. Uh, also, it is kind of weird for the cops not to want like their very obvious suspect like identified. Don't take a shot every time they say mitochondria. By the way, that's very very hazardous. Yeah. I believe now we get some good Daniel driving. Or am I thinking later? Then there's one scene where you're just like going downtown in no rush at all, and there's just a cutscene of him like just peeling out into traffic with this like 90-degree turn. Pouring it. It's a very nice lobby. Okay, I was wrong, but we do get the good world map. I like the little detail that when you have the camera zip by that one helicopter, you can hear it. Yeah, like... There's a lot of little things in this game. Okay, this isn't the scene I was thinking of. Like, just... middle of the day, no emergency. And yeah, like, he just has to be absolutely flooring it here on a one-way street in the middle of New York City. Like, if you have ever seen New York, cars do not move in that city. Oh, your favorite locations from Ghostbusters. Now for the hell of running up to talk to the security guard. I do like all this nice foley for different surfaces you walk across, though. And that was something that, like, all PlayStation horror games were really good at, honestly. There's a big freaking flashlight he's got. Holy cow. Like, I know a lot of people doing like security work have flashlights that are designed to double as clubs, but it's supposed to be, you know, believable as a flashlight too. Guess I should probably head straight up there and not look for loot in the museum, like my instincts are telling me to do. Okay. I don't know if it was just wiggly vertices or it was intentionally like very like puppet animation to convey extra emotion at the time. Because this and Final Fantasy 7 and 8 really go in for that. Just got that one friend at this station that like wants all the juicy gossip all the time. Good friend memory card. Did you not just say there was no other desk I had to grab? Well, too bad. It's not happening, pal. Nice jukebox. I appreciate the flickery monitor. Just makes it a real movie of a game having that refresh rate be so annoying. Sir, please stop playing Tetris. What's this? What's this? It really is. I think we actually look right at it though. Hey. You want to sit on that for a second here? Hang on. Oh, okay, you want to hide my chair? That works too. Okay. When a cat wants you to pay attention, but not too much attention, you know? Why are you putting suspect in quotes? Like, I mean, I guess there's the fact that, like, you know, you don't really have any other leads. But still, like, Be a professional. You're way too into mitochondria, dude. Now be shocked by this high school biology lesson. Yeah, like some kind of Parasite Eve. I love how dramatic and over the top this guy is, though. And the reaction faces, too. Yeah, fair. No, not yet. That's a thing that happens, isn't it? So it's worth noting here that the game is actually a sequel to the novel, and the novel was made into a movie. And the movie is harder to take serious than the game. So if you ever want to see people like hugging while sad music plays and they burst into flames, go find the Parasite Eve movie. And I love that this guy's saying all this without really being like up to speed on how there's this whole thing going on. He's just like really passionate about, you know, like the mitochondria in your cells could kill you any day if they wanted to. Not how evolution works, though. I mean, people say that a lot when there's like the first of something. I wouldn't actually necessarily even make that connection in this context. but she also wasn't a single woman in Africa thousands of years ago. Like, calm down. Also, wait, like, pretty sure things that aren't humans have mitochondria, so I'm not sure that works out. Anyway, back to that world map jam. Look, the sun's down now, so you can see all the lights of the city and stuff. They really put, like, an absurd amount of effort into making this look really good, and it honestly aged weirdly well. Hey there. Hey. Hi. Like, every time you're driving somewhere, they find a way to make it that much clearer that, like... reasonable speeds for suckers with this guy behind the wheel. Also, it's like a really nice car interior for a little one-off dialogue scene. Like, there was a real cinematic eye with this game for framing up shots nicely. This isn't already turbo? It's going. Like, because you're afraid of being set on fire, or like, you know, you don't want to mess with you. You're Eddie the Super Cop here. What are you doing standing over here in the corner? Daniel's incredibly reckless driving really is my favorite thing about this game. And I guess the other thing he does towards the end, but I don't want to spoil that. Or maybe I do. Oh, what the hell? He jumps out of a helicopter to throw something to you. Just... Yeah, I know. And I think he survives that scene somehow, too. I think. It's been a while. Excuse me, sir. I was kind of mashing A. Where do you want me to go? All the other cops in this precinct are ghosts. Ghosts, I tell you. Some of this stuff in the basement, just so I don't have a problem. I'm afraid. I love this realistic dialogue of how police talk to each other. See ya. Oh, thank you for that. As a matter of fact, I do. Oh, alright. You can just keep adding more slots. Cool. probably don't actually need these anytime soon. Yeah, I'll keep that one. Yeah, that is a kind of weird thing about this. All the NPCs will, like, very slowly turn around, and then you just... Again, that bad typewriting sound. Here we go. Yeah. It really feels like they rendered that cutscene first, and then they realized that there was never really a point in the game where they needed it, and then they just rewrote his whole character to just always drive like that. Ow, fire hot. Central Park in Parasite Eve. Also known as the part of the game where if you're getting ready to do the optional endgame content, you just like stop dead and pick up literal garbage for like 5 hours. Yeah, pretty much. Or at least you're safe from bursting into flames by being too close to Eve, which is kind of the issue for everybody else. It just kind of like has this, you know, mile-wide radius of burn to the ground. Ah yes, the famous Vipers of New York Central Park. Alright, I have a rifle now, I don't have to get that close. A very like interesting general choice for where to go with the soundtrack in this. It's like half thriller music, half like John Carpenter action movie score, and then a little techno sometimes. Which is better? very annoying invisible wall right there. There you go. So sometimes... yeah. Hold everything. Drunk is more important. So there's this random thing where you just, from these crows in the park in particular, keep finding this junk, which is close off your inventory. However, if you drop enough of it off in the weapons locker in the police station, the one weird guy with the obsession will build like the best weapon possible in the game. What am I gonna do with all these tools? Like, yeah, it's something ridiculous like 200. Might just be 60 something, but it's still a lot. And I think it like saves with multiple playthroughs too, so like you can manage that way, but they can also, like, once you've made your ultimate gun, just, like, take every other weapon you find in the game and any cool features you like on them, you just kind of, collect for later. So you have to, like... be in a special place to use those? I can't remember. Oh, okay, well here's this. So first of all, get another item slot. And yeah, I'll use it for a while, sure, why not? Or not. Okay. Now I have the ability to customize all my stuff, which is a nice little thing in this game. Those customization points, I think, are for the current loop only, and then there's kind of this thing we've been holding the Game Plus thing of like, okay, am I just going to just be banking points on this run, or spending them? Which is interesting, like, especially for a game that at the time was like scandalously short for an RPG. It's like a 12-hour game, I think. So I'm not gonna finish it in one sitting here, but you know, I'm gonna potentially get like a decent way in. So they were kind of worried about, like, you know, at the time the ideal was like these 100-hour RPGs that you would just like, why didn't you get a poison spell? Just you know, live in for a couple months while waiting for another game to come out, and so they put in this like really robust New Game Plus and this really overkill. I think semi-random super dungeon where it's just like every single floor of the Chrysler building as this kind of I want to say optional mega dungeon, but now that I stop thinking about it, like the actual like real ending of the game is if you go through the ridiculously huge dungeon that's only available on your second pass through, I think. And when I say it's like the real ending of the game, it's like Eve there is on like an aircraft carrier or something like that, doing some evil plan thing. And then you, instead of dealing with that, go to this random building downtown and holy cow, what is all this? Where is the actual item picking up here? So yeah, if you, instead of going to where the plot tells you to go to this other building, it turns out like the actual Eve is in here and the other one's an imposter. The whole regular game is completely meaningless, and it's just like, this is a weird thing to do with your like grueling hours and hours long grindy challenge area. And I don't think I've even, like, YouTubed that one. It's very possible I'm going in circles. If you see me going in circles, please yell at me. Not good. And yeah, I think so. I mean, the sequels are bad. Like, first of all, the second game does this big thing of like, oh, well, because mitochondria control aging, you're gonna look like 16 forever. And it's like, ew? And then it's just this straight up Resident Evil clone. And like, there are no recurring characters, there's no Eve, it's just like, you become a freelance monster hunter after the end of the game because monsters are a thing now. Because the whole, we gotta kill this evil person who's making mitochondria evil doesn't actually do anything, and monsters just happen on their own anyway, and it's just like kind of a mess. Okay, I am going in a circle. This game does not have intuitive map layouts at all. Just gonna mention that. And then the plot even turns into Resident Evil 2, where it's like, oh no, all these monsters aren't because of mitochondria at all. They're just this evil monster factory lab run by this evil corporation, and like, I think they sell umbrellas or something. Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of playing the third birthday, but I know it's called that because they lost the Parasite Eve license. You get armor weirdly often in this. And there's this whole thing where you're possessing people and they turn into you, and then when you take damage, your clothes get damaged, and the developers are saying, by the way, if you want maximum clothing damage as like quickly as possible, like let it go a grenade go off in your face. Just saying. And it's got this weird like clone plot. But this game on its own, like, I do think really stands the test of time, honestly. Like, It's a nice length. It's mechanically actually kind of interesting. Great soundtrack. Just like, let me move a bit faster and tell me where I'm going, because this is painful. Oh, good. My muscle memory good for something after all. Yeah, like, I want an actual Parasite Eve 2. Like, iterate on what this game did. And it's especially frustrating because, like, I like this game mechanically, and I hate what the sequel did. So it's just like... Why did you throw away the good mechanics that you knew how they worked to try to copy the Capcom game? Yeah, sure. I'm not really... Well, I'm not really committed to playing through the whole game, first of all. I'm probably not going to do the whole junk collection run. And is there, like, any actual reason for me besides just 2 treasure chests? For that matter, is there actually, like, this tropical wildlife refuge in New York Central Park? That doesn't sound right to me. That sounds very wrong to me, in fact. Although I do like these little placards of nature facts. Okay, and they're explaining, too, why there's, like, giant snakes and such outside. That's nice. So at this point, I was going to put the question to the audience. Should I switch to something else, or should I stick with this? Because I am going to be either asking someone to remind me where to go, or looking up a walkthrough real quick. Because this is, like... one of the less straightforward areas in the game. Yes, hello? I'd like to report that I just heard about some monkeys. This may be very relevant to the case going forward. Yeah, like back in the day, I played through this at least half a dozen times, and every single one of them, I got to Central Park and just like, damn it, where the hell do I even go? So I guess these are the aforementioned monkeys, and also I guess they play High-Lie. Dodging, are you? How dare. And yeah, I am definitely losing my focus for playing this game properly, so... You know what? Have at me. And let me just appreciate once more the glory of the T-Rex skeleton rocking out, and then I'm going to switch to another game, I think. Because I did preload a few for tonight. Oh, okay, see ya. And yeah, like... Well, very short for an RPG. This is very long for a game to play fully on stream. But hopefully that was a good taste of it for people. And it gets a little more interesting when there's more customization later on. You get the holes, the spells, and whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of this. And that one rat, like, still to this day, I swear. Life's simple joys. Just watching that rock out. But yeah, if you'll excuse me for one moment while I just